we do this, therefore, if you're trying to solve for the variable and the variable is a power, what you're going to do is you're going to take the log of both sides. So you have the log of 3x, 3 to the x power, excuse me, is equal to the log of 30. Okay? Now be aware that this log, even though I'm not writing it, this is technically log base 10. We just don't write that. Okay? Now the reason I'm doing this is very simple, is because there's a rule, there's a law of logarithms that allows me to bring this from here to here. So now I'm going to have x log of 3 is equal to log of 30. Okay? Remember, now what I did here is that the law of logarithms that allows it to expand. So remember, I'm solving for x. So to solve for x, all I'm going to do is now I'm going to divide by log of 3. Alright, and just a few warnings. Now remember that this does not mean that this is going to simplify to log of 10. This 30 and that 3, they're not going to interact with one another. Okay? So all you have to do now is put this exactly like you see it on your calculator. And then it should give you the answer. So it should be around 3 something, right? So you can write it however you want to. You can press alpha, y equals, press enter. So we have log of 30 divided by log of 3. So it's 3.096. So that's all you need to do. Okay? So again, the answer is 3.096. Does that make sense? So in all of these, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to isolate the term that has an exponential function. So this part right here, I'm trying to isolate that part. So to do that in example number 2, the first step I have to do is add the 4 to each side. And then once I have some number to the x power is equal to some other number, then that's when I want to use the log on each side. So I'm going to take the log base 10 on each side. So I have log of 10 to the x power is equal to log of 38. And remember that by the laws of logarithms, that allows me to bring this x right here. Alright, so this is really going to be x log of 10 is equal to log of 38. Now you may not know this, but remember I told you this is log base 10, right? This is log base 10. Now the log base 10 of 10, this is actually 1. So all of this part right here is actually 1, but you may not know that, and you really don't have to. Alright, but so if you didn't know that, then you would subtract by this on both sides. But I know that the log base 10 of 10 is 1. Okay, but again, if you didn't know that, that was fine. You can write it like that, plug it in your calculator. So if I write log of 38 divided by log, and make sure you close that, if you're going to write it like this, make sure you close this parentheses. That gives you 1.579 or 1.58. If I'm running to 3 decimal places. Right, and again, one more time. Log of 10, if you don't understand what I was saying, log base 10 of 10 actually cancels, so that's equal to 1. Alright, so, anyway. That'll become useful, hopefully, in pre-cal for you. Now, on number 3, same thing. I want to isolate this, right? So, I'm going to let you do this one on your own. It shouldn't take that long. Alright, so, first step, I'll at least show you that. Subtract 14 from each side, so you should have 5 to the x power. It's equal to 7. Alright, so 21 minus 14 is 7. Now, the problem is, how do I get to that x? And that's basically what we did at number 1. So if you're like, I don't know what to do from there, look at example number 1. Okay? And let me walk around real fast, see what you were doing. Log of 5x. Yeah, equals to log of 7. Literally log of 7 divided by log of 5. Yep. Just write exactly what you have on there. You're right. Okay, so this one, most of you actually were doing pretty well on this. So if you divide both sides by log of 5, what you should get is 1.209, I believe. Is that what we got? All right, so again, make sure you always close those parentheses when you're dividing on the calculator. Right, so let's go to the back here. And this is just getting a little bit harder each problem. Now in problem number 4, the only difficulty with problem number 4 is I want to get this by itself. So meaning I want to get this part of this equation by itself. So I'm going to start off by subtracting 4. So I have 3 to the times 1/2 to the x power is equal to 15. Now what most people want to do is they go, well, can I multiply that 3 and that 1/2? The answer is no. All right. Remember, I want to leave this by itself. So the next step is I need to divide by 3 on each side. All right, so one more time, you need to leave this by itself. All right, once you're right there, then you can take the log of both sides. All right, so this would be log of 1/2. Now remember, the x would be up here, but I'm going to bring it in front. So you go to the log of 5. And then you divide. By the way, does everybody see where the log key was? I'll show you here in a minute. Anyway, I'm going to divide both sides by log of 1/2. That cancels. And I'm just going to do that on my calculator. See log. So here's the log key. If you haven't seen it, it's right beside that 7. Log of 5 divided by log of 1/2. So negative 2.322. Alright, so that's that. Now the next one, just a little bit different. Notice that on this one I don't have to subtract or multiply or divide by anything. This is already by itself, alright? So the first step I need to do is to do the log of both sides. So this is going to be a little bit more work, and that's okay. So I'm going to take the log of both sides. Now remember, the only reason that I want to use that logarithm is that now I can solve for this 4x. So I'm going to bring that to the front. So I have 4x log of 2 is equal to log of 3.6. Now remember, my goal is to isolate that x. I want to get that x by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by log of 2. So your option at this point is to put this in your calculator and see what that is, and that would be 4x is equal to whatever this quantity is. Okay? But if you want to do it all in one step, notice that I can also actually divide this by 4 simultaneously, and I can put a 4 here. Now on this one I would recommend, so that will basically give you the whole answer. I would recommend to use the alpha y equal function of the TI-84 just to avoid mistakes. That's 3.6, and on the bottom I have 4 log of 2. Right, but again, if you didn't want to do that, that's fine. You can have the 4x is equal to whatever this was without the 4, and that would still would work. So this is equal to 0.462. 462. All right. So again, the alternate way that if you were looking at it, just let me write it down so you're not confused. I see some faces, some confusion Alright, so what I was saying is that if you don't want to do it like that, you can divide both sides by log of 2. So this is the alternate way. It'll give you the same answer, but this is 4x is equal to that would be equal to 1.84. More like 4,7,996. If I divide that by 4, then I should get the same answer. So you can do it however you want to. I'm just telling you that the one on the left is a little bit faster, but if that's confusing to you, you can just keep doing that. Alright, so this is 2 ways of doing the same thing. Okay? Now on the very last one. On the last one, again, this is already by itself. It's already isolated, so I'm going to use the log on both sides. So I have the log of 19 to the power of x plus 4 is equal to log of 3. So again, only take the log of both sides if what you're looking for is in the power, meaning the power is, the x is in the power. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this x plus 4 to the front. So notice how I'm writing x plus 4. I'm going to write that in parentheses. And now I'm going to divide both sides by log of 19. So I have x plus 4 is equal to whatever that is. I don't know what that is, so I'm going to put it in my calculator. So we have log of 3 divided by log of 19. 0.3731143. And I normally don't like to round until I get to the very end. So anyway, what's the last step then? Yeah. We're going to subtract 4 from each side, and that's going to give you my solution. Now, I do have a calculator, which is good, because I don't really want to do that by hand. If I subtract 4, I get negative 3.6. See, negative 3.627. Thank you. So that is that. So for the most of it, it's pretty simple. Now on the homework, I'm just warning you because normally you guys are going to get into that rhythm, and it's going to become easier for you. So you're going to start trying to go through this really fast. The last 4 questions on the homework, which are 11 through 14. Alright, so these 4 questions are actually more related to the homework you did last week. Alright, so these, they don't have anything to do with what we just did. Alright, I mean, they have something to do with it, but not all the way. But anyways, if you have questions on those 4, you can ask me. Just be careful. Alright.